Hello everybody, this directions video is on passive verb phrases, our first worksheet for verbs for today. Most sentences are written in the active voice, so that means that the action's happening now, it's actively happening. This means that the subject performs the action, okay? The subject is actively performing something, actively doing something, that's active voice. In sentences written in the passive voice, the subject receives the action. Okay, or something is happening to the subject. To write in the passive voice, use a form of the helping verb be and a past tense verb. So for example, if something is happening in the active voice, it's happening right now. Mike gave us tickets to the circus. Mike is our subject. Mike is actively doing something. He gave us tickets. Even though it happened in the past tense, he's still actively doing something. Mike gave us tickets. Our subject performed an action, okay? Our subject performed the verb. That's active voice. However, passive voice is a bit different. Our subject is receiving the action here. So our subject in this sentence is we. What's happening to we? Well, we were given circus tickets, okay? We receives this action. We were given the circus tickets. We didn't give anybody anything. We give would be active voice, but because we were given circus tickets, that's passive voice. Our subject, we, is receiving the action, being given something in this case. Remember that most of what you read is in the active voice. Writers usually use the passive voice when they don't know who or what performed the action. For example, the note was written in unfamiliar handwriting. The note, in this case, is our subject. What happened to the note? It was written, okay? The note receives the action of being written, okay? We do not know who or what performed the action. We do not know who or what performed this action. We just know that that note was written. That note received the action of being written, which is what makes it passive voice. So in part A, the directions say to write AV before sentences written in the active voice. Write PV before sentences written in the passive voice. So now we need to read through these sentences and decide whether they are written in active voice or passive voice. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. P.T. Barnum owned the Barnum and Bailey Circus. Okay, so let's find the subject and the verb in this sentence. Our subject here is P.T. Barnum, okay? And P.T. Barnum is owning the Barnum and Bailey Circus. P.T. Barnum owned. Nothing is happening to P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum is the one that is completing the action here. He owns something. So look here. Sentences written in the active voice perform the action, okay? Our subject is performing the action of owning something here. So this one is active voice. Okay, so then the next one. He once said, "There's a sucker born every minute." Our subject here is he. He is performing the action of saying. He once said, okay? So notice, nothing is happening to him. He is performing the action. And again, if the subject performs the action, we have active voice. There it is. Now, with the next one, let's take a look. Unusual circus acts were always needed. Okay, our subject here is unusual circus acts. They were always needed, okay? So our subject, again, is circus acts. Now something is happening to our circus acts here. They are being needed. Somebody needs the circus acts, okay? The needing is happening to the circus acts. So the subject here is receiving the action of being needed. Okay, notice we also in this one have a form of the helping verb be in were, and we have a past tense verb, needed. So that's your other clue. We have a past tense verb, and we have a form of the helping verb be with were needed. Okay, so that makes this in passive voice. That's all you're doing through 4 through 9. And now with part B, you're looking back at the sentences in part B, and you're finding the sentences that are written in passive voice. And we need to rewrite them in active voice so that the subject is performing an action. Unusual circus acts were always needed. Okay, so instead of saying that in circus acts were needed by somebody, maybe we can say they always needed circus acts. Okay, or maybe P.T. Barnum always needed circus acts, because that way P.T. Barnum is the one doing the action here. So you can do it that's one way you could do it. Another way you could do it would be to say something along the lines of circus acts were fun, because at that time, then circus acts are performing the action of being fun. Okay, so P.T. Barnum always needed circus acts. Okay. Move that around. All right, so that's all you're doing in part B. You're finding your sentences that you decided were passive voice, and you're rewriting them in active voice, where the subject is performing the action.